Tesla stock has pretty much been dead money for the past 3.5 years. With the recent dips below 180 and now below 170s, I am doing something that many might find crazy, but I am adding and making Tesla one of my top holdings. Never an Nvidia, but a top holding for sure. Today, I want to take a closer look at the recent crazy week Tesla had and why I am bullish in this company in the long term while everything seems to be going wrong. Let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So the first event that started pretty much this crazy week for Tesla were the delivery numbers. And on the April 2nd of 2024, Tesla came out with their first quarter numbers for deliveries and productions. We can see deliveries were around 387,000 vehicles and productions were about 433,000. We're going to take a closer look that these numbers, especially the deliveries, are missing analyst expectations and are also lower than the previous year. So this created a lot of negativity towards the stock. But right now, Tesla tells us that, hey, look, the decline in volume was partially due to the early phase of the production ramp of the updated Model 3, right? We are getting the new Model 3, and it is taking some time for that to kind of ramp up to full production. There were also a few factory shutdowns resulting from kind of national and global tensions happening all over the world with things in the Red Sea, and obviously that kind of arson attack we saw in the Gigafactory Berlin. So there were a few both just macro events and Tesla specific events that really caused deliveries to kind of drop down year over year. So here we kind of see how bad it really was. If we look at overall deliveries, like I mentioned, almost 387,000 vehicles was down about 8.5% from the same quarter last year, where analysts were expecting somewhere around 457,000 vehicles this quarter. So we can see this was a huge miss on vehicle deliveries, and this was one of the first kind of events that started trailing the stock to kind of continue to go down. Pretty interesting to note that this was the first year-over-year decline in deliveries since 2020, when its operations were obviously impacted due to COVID. So it definitely was a very bad quarter in forms of deliveries. And if you kind of look at most headlines, you would think this is a Tesla only event. And we'll talk about that in a bit, but why was it bad? The first thing is just a weak auto market in general. I mean, high interest rates. Let's be honest, how many people go and buy a new car when rates are over 7% on loans for new vehicles? And sometimes I do believe the average is much higher for used cars. I think above 9%, maybe even 10% if you're buying a used car, even with great credit, right? We also see competition increasing globally and in different markets for Tesla, like we saw the Model 3 revamp. We also talked about the Berlin shutdown and then kind of those other global tension events as well. Before we go any further, I just want to say thank you all for the amazing support we are getting in this channel. We're closing into 40,000 subs. That is insane. So if you haven't and you are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support this channel a little bit more, check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. Now, many might wonder, is this a Tesla only event? And based on this chart, we do see that it's not. Another big player here in the electric vehicle market is BYD, and BYD actually overthrew Tesla, I believe, last quarter as the company that produces the most EV vehicles. We can see for quarter four of 2023, BYD beat Tesla, but if we take a closer look at this number now for BYD, its decline for quarter one was a bigger decline than Tesla. The other thing we are seeing is now Tesla is back on top as being the EV maker or the EV leader in the space. So I think we can get a lot of things here from this BYD chart. BYD's mainly sales are in China, so the Chinese market is definitely one that's pulling back a nice amount. And I do believe that's where most of the deliveries are coming out of the miss from the Chinese market because of that huge competition in China. And we can see a big player, BYD, there taking a huge, huge loss there. Now, that's all what I have for the bad parts of Tesla. There were a lot of good news, in my opinion, for this overall company. And good news number one is Tesla does Elon Musk did mention that they are going to unveil Tesla's robotaxi on August 8th. A lot of people are speculating because 88 is a very lucky number in the eastern side of the world that we might see robotaxis coming out in China. Now, I do believe a lot of investors are excited for this event because it could open up a nice amount of growth opportunities for Tesla. Now, good news part number two, and this is probably my favorite thing about Tesla and why I personally am investing in this company. It's their overall AI solutions and their overall AI data. In maybe not Sunday, but in the upcoming days, I will be releasing the few companies that I am buying right now and why I'm super bullish in these companies. Tesla, one of the main reasons is their overall AI market, but we can see that the company finally hit over 1 billion of FSD miles driven. And we can also see how much of a ramp it has increased in just the past few months as we are seeing more Tesla vehicles enter the road. And with, I'm guessing, with Elon and Tesla giving FSD for free this month, we see a huge infinite, almost an infinite ramp up in miles gained just in these past few weeks. So the huge growth in FSD miles overall helps all this data helps improve FSD in general, but it also helps improve Optimus in general, which is Tesla's robotics market. And right now, like I mentioned, cars are out there collecting data like no tomorrow. Now with FSD free for a month, this data can continue to grow pretty quickly. Most of the times when I'm driving right now, I just plug in FSD, and I've been driving a few hundred miles since I first got the Tesla already. So I know they already got a nice amount of data just from me alone. Elon also tweeted that it won't be long before Tesla exceeds 10 billion miles of FSD. And the moment you have that amount of crazy data, the improvements that we're going to see in Tesla's AI or FSD in general is going to be amazing. But like I mentioned, that data also improves Optimus, the robotics market in general. So one might be wondering, why is this good for Optimus? Isn't Tesla's data mainly just for vehicles? How can this transform into an humanoid robots? And there's a few reasons. One, machine learning. This can help improve in things like object recognition, path planning, and decision making capabilities, which is obviously going to be important for a humanoid robot. Real world scenario, this data can help Optimus learn how to handle various situations safely and efficiently. And the great thing is, we do know that Tesla's Optimus and their overall car fleet are sharing very similar hardware and software solution. So a lot of this can transfer very easily. And right now, we do see from companies like Nvidia that the world is coming to the humanoid robots within the upcoming years. And if you might have missed that episode from Nvidia, make sure to check out my Nvidia playlist at the end of this video. It's going to pop up where I talk about the robotics market and why it is huge for the overall world. Now, the other thing that we did see for Tesla is there were reports that Tesla might be scrapping their low cost car. This is the car that's expected to be $25,000 or below. Elon kind of refuted those claims and mentioned that, hey, look, that's not true. We're still working on the low cost car. So, why is a low cost car important? First, it seems like there is a strong market for this, not only here in the United States, but obviously globally. A compact car and a cheap car can do wonders. Here I have this wild stat from Car Dealership Guy. He talks that General Motors sold more units of its Chevy Trax, which is a very compact car, than all of the Cadillac sales combined. And the main reason is because there's not many new vehicles under $25,000 nowadays. So obviously, if Tesla comes out with this $25,000 budget car, it's going to help increase their overall car sales. But what I think is more important with this is more cars equals more data. And we also know that the robotaxi that we talked about earlier in, I believe, Good News Part 1, robotaxi that's going to unveil on August 8th, is also going to be based on this platform that the $25,000 car is in. So if they are going to unveil the robotaxi, maybe that means that they're also going to unveil the compact car during that same event. So something maybe Tesla investors are very, very excited about. So, like I mentioned, I'm pretty much buying in Tesla right now. Even if you look at forward 1 year PE ratio, this is kind of trading at a high valuation of 40.65. But like I mentioned, to me, I think the AI market is going to be big. And Tesla, with the amount of data that they have collected, with us seeing their miles driven on FSD, is now crossing 1 billion. And it keeps that slope of growth continues to increase. Now it pretty much just looks like a straight line. And hopefully, maybe we might see a straight line to 2 billion very, very quickly. So, with all this data, like I mentioned, is going to do both well for their vehicle market, but also for the Optimus Prime market. And that's what gets me pretty excited. I know sometimes talking like that, some people might be thinking that I'm living in a fairyland of some sort, or a kid story. But coming from the engineering field, when I see things like this, it definitely gets me pretty excited about the future of technology. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.